Why, hello, group. Good to hear from you. Feel free to go ahead and post any questions you have in the box. Hopefully, we're good to go here. I hope so. I think it's set up right. Anyway, I got an email today from Google actually regarding says updates to phrase and broad match modified keywords. I'll just read the email real quick to you. Today we announced an update to matching behavior phrase and broad match modified BMM keywords, not BLM, BMM keywords. You're receiving this message because you're using at least one of these match types in your ads accounts. What's changing? Starting on February 18th, phrase and BMM keywords broad match modified will begin to match the same user searches. With this updated matching behavior, ads may show on searches that include the same or more specific meaning as your keyword. This can lead to an increase in traffic, any phrase match keywords, and a slight decrease in traffic on any broad match modified keywords. To simplify keyword match types, of course, we're doing this because it helps you. This new phrase match will fully replace BMM in July. Your existing broad match modified keywords will continue to work, and you can use phrase match for new keywords you would have previously added as BMM. You don't need to take any action to benefit from these updates. For more information on the new behavior, including how to roll it out in different languages and best practices, see the actual post. So if you actually go to the post, first of all, just a quick distinction on broad and phrase match. Hopefully you can see. You can see a little bit. Maybe you're right about here. Okay. So when they refer to broad match and phrase match, so we're going to use the term red sneakers, right? Well, this is the old one that we always hear. Red sneakers. Hopefully you can hear me on this. So red sneakers. Somebody types that in, plural, right? We're buying two. You Google it, right? If you just do broad match, right? You just put that keyword into Google. Google can use any one of these keywords. They can mix it up. They can match it up. So your mom loves red sneakers. Red sneakers, red elephants always wear sneakers, right? Anytime that word shows up, they can use it anywhere they want in a phrase, any search query. And you go through it. So that's regular broad match, right? That's regular old broad. Then you have basically exactly what you want to be able to do, right? So exact match is where basically it's red sneakers. The exact match are you going to use when you upload campaigns anyway, brackets. So all that goes into brackets. So right, boom, boom, right? That means that phrase has to stay intact and together. Nothing before it, nothing in the middle, nothing after it. So very, very exact. Now what typically happens with that is you go from a broad match term like this, right? Like what we talked about, you get a lot of impressions for things, but the user didn't mean to type it in, right? They're not searching for red sneakers. As long as they use the word red and sneakers in their equation or in the query, you get a result where potentially your ad could be flagged, right? Where exact brings that big, if you picture it as can you see that? Maybe you can't see it over here. So if you picture this as a funnel, right? With this being the largest number of keywords, right? This would be our broad match. We then have, well, we're going to get into the phrase match here, but then the exact match. So as you get lower in the funnel, right, this is going to be our exact match. So smaller, smaller, smaller. You get the idea, right? So our broad is going to be the biggest, right? Our phrase, which we'll get into in just a moment, and then our exact, which is going to be, again, a smaller amount of queries, but much more exacting in the user query. Now, typically, we would start with a phrase match, which would mean that basically this stuff right here has to stay together, okay? So what they're saying is, with this stuff staying together, I can add things to the front of it and I can add things to the back of it, right? Which will allow me to test variations of that keyword. So the best performing running red sneakers, right? red sneakers reviews. I get to see all of that data and then go ahead and craft the page properly. Now, you do have, so that's a phrase match. Then they had basically exact match. I'm sorry, the broad match modifiers, which would include when we upload campaigns anyway. It means that these sets of keywords have to be in here no matter what. It doesn't matter what the order is. So if I want to do red sneakers and then reviews, for example, or something of that nature, I can use the things I may have been able to test with phrase match, and then to build more volume with that, okay, I can go ahead and so that red sneakers phrase match key term, I can go actually look at some of that data and say, okay, red sneakers together, people are searching for, let's say, performance statistics or models or maybe widths or heights or whatever the case may be, or reviews or competition, maybe competitive terms like Nike red sneakers or whatever the case may be. I can now then, with that phrase match ability, go ahead and actually craft other variations of that set of rules. Now, what Google is essentially telling us, we're going to figure that all out for you. We're going to help you. They use machine learning and AI tools, which is great. Very, very powerful stuff, right? But at the end of the day, it's taking power away from you making a decision like that and going ahead and building it in, baking it into the AI tools, which again is very good. But as a marketer, it talks about, if you actually go ahead and read the article, and I'm going to go look at some of this stuff here just for fun. But the article starts out by saying, at the heart of Google AdWords is our ability to connect businesses with the people who are looking for what they have to offer. Whether they're searching for takeout restaurants, which have grown more than 5,000% year over year, or something Google has never seen before, which makes about 15% of queries every day. People expect to find the products and services they're looking for. Now, over the years, we've improved our understanding of intent to make it easier for us, for me, to research my customers. If, for example, your keywords can now match the meaning of a search, the broad match is now more effective as driving performance, especially when paired with smart bidding. Again, AI tools like Google figure this out for you. With the improvements we have seen, the phrase match and broad match modifier often serve the same use cases, and then you can reach more of the right customers through a combination of the two. Again, Google's transparency on these on this ability is like as typical 0, right? They're going to figure out all that stuff with the AI tools. So forget about you trying to improve your stuff. You just need to basically feed the beast, and Google will figure out the rest for you. They even give in this article a little bit of a search query kind of breakout with the term moving services New York City to Boston, which would be the phrase match term, to the broad match modifier moving services NYC to in Boston. I probably wouldn't use the word to, but that's fine. And there's ways even modifying the modified broad match to get that to kind of stick together. But again, we're going to let Google just kind of do its thing, right? It eliminates the ability for you to go ahead and do this when they're just going to go ahead and say, all right, well, we're just going to ram it through for you, and we're going to combine those things, right? So their example, they remove, in this case, with those queries and the variety of that, moving services Boston to New York. Well, I kind of maybe want to go after that term. They might be different. The competitive environment might be different for that, but instead you're going to have to allow Google just to go ahead and do that. So the net of this is you're basically going to have to be moving to a phrase match environment, and just instead of going ahead and adjusting or learning from the broad match modifier, you're going to actually have to go ahead and build those things out in a larger format without having to do. So I'm going to have to figure out what these varieties are in the broad in the phrase match environment. So again, I'm going to have to build those out. And just move with it, right? So instead of me being able to learn with greater volumes with this kind of configuration where I can see some of that data and actually go ahead and test these terms out, I'm actually going to have to build out the actual, either the exact match, or in this case, more phrase match key terms. Again, just Google and its ability to be controlling has removed our ability to be flexible in trying to figure out where to put our efforts to put content. They're going to force you to do that and be able to just go ahead and have to go through that process. So, and of course, this is always really good stuff and to help me do my job better. So it will, according to Google anyway, it'll give you more control and better reach, or bring the best of broad match modifier into phrase match. As a result, phrase match will expand to cover additional broad match modified traffic, which will continue to respect word order when it's important to its meaning. This, again, they're going to dictate this for you. This makes it easier to reach customers and manage keywords in your account. And they go through, again, that example I was just mentioning. This change also helps you to streamline keyword management. Looks like more work to me. And trying to justify building out additional keywords without, again, the control and visibility of actually being able to see it. Yeah, thanks a lot for the help, Google. Really appreciate that. By the way, this simplification process makes it easier for us to manage our accounts. This is according to an SCM manager at Wayfair. Again, huge budgets that are willing to be blown on things that don't add value, as opposed to a lot of our clients, which are small and medium-sized business clients, who actually don't have huge budgets and do expect a very solid ROI, almost extreme ROI on the performance of those ads. So again, thank you for doing that. Don't pick up my sarcasm. As these two match types cover a lot of the same use cases today, I'll tell you what, let me decide that for my clients. Thank you very much, Google. I don't need your help in that. You can find the inventory. If I'm going to put in the work to build out these bigger campaigns for small clients and make sure I'm targeting that 5% of the best opportunity, I need visibility into that. Your little control features here don't help me with that. Okay. But again, it goes on to talking about what's happening to broad match in the timeline. So starting mid-February, both phrase and broad match modifier keywords will begin to transition this new matching behavior. Because this behavior will be applied to both match types, you won't have to take any immediate action. You'll keep your performance data, have no need to migrate your keywords. In July, then, once the new behavior has been rolled out globally, you will no longer be able to create a new broad match modified keyword. However, existing broad match modified keywords will continue to serve under the new behavior. That's why, starting now, we recommend creating new keywords in phrase match going forward. And again, this all goes back to the Smart Ads campaign. And by the way, I like Smart Ads a lot. Smart Ads is using that machine learning and AI tool. The problem with it, again, is it's a feed the machine aspect, right? I've got to just go ahead and create much content and just feed that. Because what Google essentially does is let's say you create 3 different ads, right? Create 3 different in Smart Ads. You basically tell kind of like categories or concepts, right? Keyword concepts in an industry. So you have like 10 of those or so that Google can focus in on those. And then you go ahead and build out those specific ads. And let's say you have 3 ads going on. Well, it's going to take those 3 ads and turn them, mash them, take words out of this, add words to it in order to actually create the best performing ad, which sounds really great. And by the way, performance-wise, it does. It even does that with, if you upload a couple of those images in Smart Ads, it'll even create, out of those 3 ads, it'll probably generate 40 or 50 different display ads right out of that content, which is really, again, really awesome stuff. Problem is you have no way of auditing that and changing that, seeing what's working and what's not. You basically, again, just have to trust the technology and feed the beast. So if you have a client that's, let's say, a lot of times there's 3 or 4 or 5 product or services that really shine for a client, right? You're going to be building out campaigns for each and every one of those, okay? And again, you may have 3 or 4 or 5 different ads being tested. You're the ones that you created within those, because a category let's say it's for headaches, right? For a client that does specialize in headaches or leg screenings or whatever the case may be. They're focused on a specific area. Those campaigns then, again, you have 10 keyword phrase concepts and smart ads to do that work. So at the end of the day, you're just basically, again, feeding the machine. You're feeding Google this information. It's using time and keyword configurations and personalization that they know about the guest, where the location is, all this stuff, temperature, weather, all that stuff, competitive data, and they're trying to give the best value, which again is good. But I don't like the fact that I can't control these as much as I used to. For a client on a tight budget, that's important. I would like to be able to glean more data out of that. And there's ways of doing that. But again, it involves tracking and looking at things and listening at things at a much more granular level. Let's see, setting up performance, shift budgets when necessary, regularly check recommendations. So again, trust Google on their recommendations, which, to be quite frank with you, I've only found about 30 to 40% of the recommendations in Google actually worth anything. Now that means that 34% are worth something and looking at, but don't just assume. A lot of business owners that are doing it themselves will just assume that Google's recommendations are good. Well, guess what? One of the recommendations is always to do is to increase your budget. Shocker there. So again, it's because we've taken some tools and we're relying on Google to do some of this stuff that, to be quite frank with you, it's costing you money, right? Consider using broad match with smart bidding, of course. But again, I would really like to see the testing of it much more versatile and flexible. So again, all this is supposed to help me. If your business is running a significant, let's say most of the budget that you're spending in terms of media is spent in AdWords, this will have an impact. It should have an impact. If not, you're trusting Google too much anyway and you're spending too much. If you feel as though you do have a good handle on it and it is something that is important to your business, as part of inbound lead generation or sales, this will impact. If you haven't been using broad match modified and stuff like that before, if those terms are new to you, you're wasting money, and you need to reach out to an agency to be able to help you with that. If you're not sure how these things will integrate into your current business, I'll tell you what, reach out, leave a comment in the box. And we'll be able to go ahead and set up a review and just kind of look through what your current AdWords environment looks like. I would also suggest too, if you're one of those people that have issues of control in terms of Google looking, I mean, a lot of our business does come from Google. No two ways about it. It's still a very powerful engine, but we do know that they manipulate search queries and things like that. Depending on what industries you're in terms of medical, all of that, you might want to look for alternatives as well. One of the ones that's come out recently is DuckDuckGo. I've had several clients ask about DuckDuckGo. Without getting too far off topic, they do use Microsoft ads, not Google ads, to drive stuff. So, and those ads are, easy to migrate in terms of the campaigns from Google or duplicate in terms of Google's ads into Microsoft. Something to play in. They also use different algorithms too for organic search. So again, questions about that stuff, feel free to reach out, let us know. Hope you're doing good. If there's any questions at all, you can always just Google search for us. Go to doc29.com, set up an appointment, and I will see you guys on the other side. I don't think we have any questions going on. I'm kind of checking the feed here. But if questions come about, go ahead and reach out through the site. And I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye.